Two lines with slopes 1/4 and 5/4 intersect at 1, 1. What is the area of the triangle formed by these two lines and the vertical line x equals 5? Let's draw a basic graph and see what we get. So the first one is x equals 5, so that's easy. We'll just draw a line approximately here representing x equal to 5 on the x-axis, obviously. And then now we have to draw these lines. So the first one, the slope is 1/4, so 1/4 x plus some b. And then the second one, the slope is 5/4, so 5/4x plus some b2, we'll call it. Now both of them, 1, 1 satisfies the equation, so we can easily calculate the b1s. 1 is equal to 1/4 plus b1, so therefore b1 is equal to 3/4. And in the second one, 1, 1 satisfies the equation, so 1 is equal to 5/4 plus b2, so b2 is equal to minus 1/4. Yeah, all right, so we got our equations. So we can just draw a very quick plot. So our equations are y is equal to x over 4 plus 3/4, and y is equal to 5/4x minus 1/4. Okay, so the first one we can plot, let's say when x is 0, we get 3/4 approximately, so let's just say that's here. And when x is 1, we would get 1, and that we already know is a point. Not exactly drawn to scale, but you guys get the idea. So the first one, the first line, is approximately something like this. Now we can quickly sketch the next one. When x is 1, this one right here, we get 1, 1, which is a point right here. And then let's say when x is 0, we get minus 1/4, so approximately here. So that line will look something like this. So there we go. Now we have that triangle that they want us to figure out the area of. This is the triangle. And that triangle, what we can do is we can call this the base, or we can call that the height, and we can call this the base. It doesn't really matter. But either way, area would be 1/2 base times height. So we can call this the base, and we can call this the height. Okay, well, the height is pretty straightforward. Since this was 1 and this is 5, the height is basically 5 minus 1, which is 4. So height is equal to 4. So 1/2 base times height, that's 4. And then for the base, I've got to figure out these points right here. So when x is 5, what is the y value for this graph, and what is the y value for that graph? Okay, when x is 5, this one gives me 5/4 plus 3/4, which would be 8/4, so y would be 2. So this point here is going to be 2 on the y-axis, this point. And then when x is 5, this graph, let's see, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 1 is 24, so y will be 24/4, which is 6. So this point is 6, that one right there. So 6 minus 2, which is 4, is equal to b. So that's b. So my area is going to be 1/2 4 times 4, which is 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So number 19, the answer is C. In the diagram, the line segments PQ and PR are perpendicular. The value of S is. Well, if the lines are perpendicular, their slopes will be negative reciprocals. So first, let's calculate the slopes. For PQ, the slope would be S minus 2 over 2 minus 0. And that's just S minus 2 over 2. For RQ, the slope would be 1 minus 2 over 4 minus 0, which is negative 1/4. Now, these two are negative reciprocals. So that basically means that when you multiply them together, they result in negative 1. So for example, if one slope was m, the other slope is negative 1/m. And when you multiply them together, they equal -1. Okay, so let's do this here. This becomes 2 minus s over 8 is equal to -1. So that means 2 minus s is equal to -8, and therefore s would be equal to 10. Number 15, the answer is C. The line y is equal to -3/4 x plus 9 crosses the x-axis at point P and the y-axis at point Q. The point T, RS, is on the line segment PQ. If the area of triangle POQ is 3 times the area of triangle TOP, then the value of R plus S is. All right. So the first thing, of course, is we need to figure out P and Q, because those are obviously going to give us the area of that big triangle. And that's where that equation comes in. And this is really just figuring out the x and y intercepts. So first, find the y-intercept, set x to 0, and that quickly gives you y is equal to 9. So that means this is 9. So that this side is basically 9, QO or OQ, whatever. Now I find the x-intercept, set y to 0, and you get the following. Bring the 3/4 over to the other side, and then x is therefore equal to 9 times 4 divided by 3, and that looks like 3 times 4, which is 12. So this distance is 12. All right, so the first thing I want to figure out is the triangle POQ area. 1/2 base times height, the base is 12, the height is 9, and that looks like 6 times 9, which is 54. All right. So they tell me that if I were to find the area of TOP, so I'll just make that triangle there. This is TOP. That is going to be related to the area that I just figured out in the following way, that POQ is 3 times the area of TOP. So that basically means that the triangle TOP, the area is 54 divided by 3, which is 18. All right? So now we have to figure out this area using our dimensions, and I'm just going to draw a height with that red line right there. So here we go. 18, which is the area of TOP, is 1/2 base times height. The base is this guy right here, 12, and the height, well, that is going to be represented in terms of either R or S. Which one? S, right? Because that is the top to bottom or vertical distance. Correct? So I've got S here, and that equals 18. So this looks like 18 is equal to 6S, and therefore S is equal to 3. All right, so we've got half the puzzle. So now we have to figure out R. How do we figure out R? Well, this point is on this line. So to figure out the other coordinate, plug it into that line. Y is equal to -3/4 x plus 9. We want to figure out R. S we already figured out was 3, so S represents the y coordinate, so put 3 here, correct? -3/4, our x is actually represented by the letter R, so put that in there. And therefore, solving for this, we get 3 over 4 R is equal to 9 minus 3, which is 6, so R would be 6 times 4 divided by 3, and that looks like 2 times 4, which is 8. So finally, what they want is R plus S, so R plus S, 8 plus 3, and that is equal to 11. So number 20, the answer is C. A line intersects the positive x-axis and positive y-axis as shown. The possible equation of this line is Well, the line is going in that direction. It's pointing downwards if you go from left to right. So obviously the slope will be negative. Well, if the slope is negative, we can immediately eliminate A and D. Well, this one, y equals 4, is actually just a straight line that goes across like that horizontally. So it's obviously not that. So now we're down to two choices that both have negative slope. We have to figure out which one of those. Well, if you were to set x equal to 0, you would get, of course, the y-intercept. And the y-intercept in this is clearly positive. Well, which one of those gives a positive y-intercept? It's only this one. The other one would give a negative y-intercept. So, number 11, the answer is E. The y-intercepts of three parallel lines are 2, 3, and 4. The sum of the x-intercepts of these three lines is 36. What is the slope of these parallel lines? Let's draw a diagram, and let's illustrate what this could look like. Well, we have three parallel lines, so one like this, another one, let's say like that, and another one like this, approximately. And they have told me that the y-intercepts, so where they cross the y-axis, is 2, 3, and 4. And then where they cross the x-axis, they don't give me those values, but they tell me that those values add up to 36. All right, so I'll just say this is A, B, and C. Okay. Well, let's call this line 1, let's call this line 2, and let's call this line 3. So the first thing is A plus B plus C is 36. That's the first piece of information. And then for line 1, all lines, of course, have the formula y is equal to mx plus b. But b is what? B is just where it crosses the y-axis when x is 0. And for line 1, we already know it's 4. So instead of writing b, just write 4, right? When x is 0, y will be 4. Line 2, in a very similar way, will be y is equal to the same slope because these lines are parallel and parallel lines have the same slope. So m again, but this time not 4, it'll be 3. And in a very similar way for L3, it will be y is equal to mx plus 2 for the same reason. All right, so let's, for all of these, solve for the x-intercepts when y is 0. So for the first one, when y is 0, we get negative 4 over m is equal to x. But instead of writing x, I'll write a because that is what I have chosen to represent that. Actually, it's c for this guy. Sorry, right? Because it's L1. It's this guy right here. For L2, let's solve for x. It would be minus 3 over m is equal to x, but my x in this case is b. And then similarly for L3, we have this guy right here, and it would be minus 2 over m is equal to 8. All right. So now I've got A, B, and C all in terms of m. I can sub them all into there and solve for m, which is what they want. They want you to solve for the slope, which is represented by m. Okay. A plus B plus C is equal to 36. So I've got minus 2 over m, minus 3 over m, minus 4 over m is equal to 36. So we have minus 9 over m is 36, and solving we get minus 9 over 36 is m. Therefore, m is equal to negative 1 over 4. Number 19, therefore, is E. Which equation represents the relationship between the values of x and y? All right, so this is just a plug and play, right? You just have to see these values satisfy which one of these 5. All right, well, the first one, I don't think that's true, right? Because x plus 0.5, I mean, if x is 4, if you add 0.5, it'll be 4.5, and that does not equal 6. How about the next one? Y equals 1.5x. Well, that will be true. That will be true. That's true, and that's true. Great. I just got it just by, plugging in these values into the given equation. So 15, the answer is B. In the diagram, P lies on the y-axis, Q has coordinates 4, 0, and PQ passes through the point 2, 4. What is the area of OPQ? Well, that is 4, 0, so that is 4. It's pretty straightforward. Now we have to figure out that. Okay. Well, we can figure out the equation of this line right here because we have 2 points. That equation will be y is equal to mx plus b. And if we substitute the first point, we get 0 is equal to 4m plus b. If we substitute the second point, we get 4 is equal to 2m plus b. And if we subtract these, we get negative 4 is equal to 2m, and therefore m is equal to minus 2. That means y is equal to minus 2x plus b. Now we have to figure out b. We can easily do that by substituting one of those points. And that gives me 0 is equal to minus 2 times 4 plus b. And therefore b is equal to 8. Right? So y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. All we have to do now is figure out that coordinate. That's basically when x is equal to 0. When x is 0, that's 8. So this point right here is 0, 8. And therefore that distance is 8. So the area of that triangle, 1/2 base times height. The base is 4, the height is 8. And that looks like 2 times 8, which is 16. So number 13, the answer is E. Through the midpoint M of OH intersects the y-axis at P0, negative 4. What are the coordinates of G? Well, like any line, it'll be of the form y is equal to mx plus b. And if M is the midpoint of OH, it has the coordinates 6, 0. So we've got this line, and we've got 2 points, so we can figure out the equation of that line pretty quickly. First, let's plug in that point. So minus 4 is equal to 0 plus b, therefore b is negative 4. And then let's plug in this point, and that gives me 0 is equal to 6m minus 4, and therefore m looks like is 4 over 6. So we have the equation of our line. It's y is equal to 4 over 6, which is 2 over 3, x minus 4. And then now we have to do is just figure out that coordinate g. Well, the good news is because they give you this coordinate, g is going to have the x coordinate of 12, and then we just have to figure out the y coordinate. And interestingly, all the answer choices have 12 as the x coordinate. All right, so plug in 12 for x, and we'll figure out our y coordinate. So this gives me 24 divided by 3, which is 8. 8 minus 4, so therefore y is 4. So there you go. 12, 4 is the coordinate for G, and that would be for number 12, E. A point is equidistant from the coordinate axes if the vertical distance from the point to the x-axis is equal to the horizontal distance from the point to the y-axis. The point of intersection of the line x equals a with the line 3x plus 8y is equal to 24 is equidistant from the coordinate axes. What is the sum of all possible values of a? Let's draw our coordinate axes and try to get an understanding of what we can possibly do in this question. If something is equidistant, then pretty much that I can conclude that it is on the line either y equals x or the line y equals negative x, though any point on those two lines will be equidistant from the x-axis and y-axis. So that is my conclusion. Now we have been given this equation, 3x plus 8y is equal to 24. So we can easily plot that when x is 0, that would mean y is 3. So let's just say here. And when y is 0, x is 8. So approximately here. So that's going to be that line. Let's just connect those. So now, where do the lines y equals x and y equals minus x intersect with that line? That line being this one. You can clearly see there's one intersection point here, and the other intersection point is right there. So if I could find those two will represent my A's. The first A will be basically this intersection point. It will be that A. And the next A will be this intersection point right here. So that's what we have to do, to figure out this A and that A. Okay, so the first one is the intersection between y is equal to x and this equation. So that's easy. You can just substitute y equals x. So it'll be 3x plus 8x is equal to 24. So 11x is equal to 24. And therefore x is equal to 24 over 11. So this is 24 over 11. Okay, the x value. Since this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Now we have to figure out the other one. That's when y is equal to negative x, that line. And 3x plus 8y is equal to 24. Well, y is equal to negative x here. So we substitute negative x. And that equals 24. So this is minus 5x is equal to 24. And therefore x is equal to 24 over negative 5. Okay. So that means this A over here is 20 or negative 24 over 5. They want you to find the sum of the possible values of A. All right, well, that sum will be 24 over 11 minus 24 over 5. And let's get a common denominator. Let's see here, 5 and 5, 11 and 11. So that is 120 minus 240, 264 over 55. And that is minus 144 over 55. And that's it. So 19, the answer is B. Line L is perpendicular to the line with the equation y is equal to x minus 3. Line L has the same x-intercept as the line with equation y is equal to x minus 3. The y-intercept of the line L is... Let's draw a quick diagram here to illustrate this. And I think we can plot that pretty quickly. This equation right here. When x is 0, y is minus 3. When x is 3, y is 0. So that is the line right there. So something like that. The line L is perpendicular and has the same x-intercept. So it's obviously going to be something like this. Something like that, where this is sort of the right angle because it's perpendicular. Okay, and they want the y-intercept. All right, shouldn't be that hard to figure this out. The equation of L is going to have the form y is equal to mx plus b. Now, since it's perpendicular to that, its slope is the negative reciprocal. This slope of x minus 3 is just 1. So if m for this is 1, the m here will be the negative reciprocal, which is negative 1. So this is negative x plus b. Now, to figure out what is b, we can plug in that point, which is 3, 0. So 0 and 3 for x, that means b is equal to 3. So the full equation is y is equal to minus x plus 3. They want the y-intercept, so set x equal to 0, and when you do, you get 3. So number 11, the answer is C.